Welcome back to Weird Stuff in a Can. Today's Weird Stuff in a Can is a 2-can special, and it is worms. So yeah, I don't know about you, but sometimes I think weird stuff in a can just isn't quite weird enough. So today we've got bamboo worms and silkworms. So I bought these on eBay for, it was £4.95. Now I actually tried to buy a can of crickets, and the seller, BugAndBiscuit, was out of crickets and contacted me and said would I like something else instead. And so I picked bamboo worms, but as a gesture of goodwill they've actually sent me a can of silkworm pupae as well. Isn't that nice? Well, isn't that a nice idea? I don't know if the product is going to be all that nice. Now I have eaten insects before and I was quite pleasantly surprised. They actually are quite tasty. So today we've got bamboo worms. Now this is a kind of caterpillar that lives inside a bamboo, and they catch them just before they pupate when they're nice and fat, and they fry them, and they're supposed to taste like corn puffs. And this is silkworm pupae. Now silkworm pupae are a byproduct of the silk industry. So they grow silkworms, and when the silkworms form a cocoon they have to boil them to take the silk off of the cocoon, and that kills the silkworm pupa inside. And so these silkworm pupae are rich in protein and fats and vitamins, and they get fried up and they're a foodstuff. I'm told that these taste a little bit like potato. So I guess we'll find out, won't we? So I'll put a link in the video description to the eBay store where I got these from, in case you're interested in trying them. So this is just literally silkworms and salt, and this is just bamboo worms and salt. The tins themselves are very light, so actually what we've got inside there is a dried product, so hopefully it'll be crispy and it'll be a little bit like a beer snack. And for that particular reason I've bought myself a bottle of Old Empire IPA. Now I think my advice to you, if you're thinking about trying insects, is have some beer on standby, because the first time I ever ate insects I did it with some beer on the side, and I kind of chickened out the first time, so I had a bit more beer and then it seemed like a good idea. So in any case, these sort of things are actually quite nice crispy snacks to have with a beer, but at the same time, if you find you don't like them, beer's a good thing to wash things down with. So let's open these up and see what we get inside. Let's do the bamboo worms first. Okay, so inside the tin there is a little plastic bag with a oxygen destroyer in there, and there you go, you can see that it is some kind of insect larvae inside of the thing. They're a little bit broken up, but I think that's probably kind of to be expected. I'm going to open it and have a little sniff now, but we're not going to taste it until a little bit later when you can actually get a chance to... Oh, the bag is torn. That's an annoyance. Okay. Okay. It's a bit of an annoyance. The Ziploc bag has actually ripped open. It will be resealable, that's good. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, they smell kind of savoury and a little bit spicy, maybe. Yeah, not unpleasant though. So that's our bamboo worms. So let's now have a look at the silkworm pupae. Okay, same deal. Oh, they don't look so appetizing though, do they? Not that appetizing is a word you kind of like to use, but there we go, look at that. Wow, they are dark, aren't they? So that, again, they're crispy inside the bag, so, you know, how bad can it possibly be? So let's have a smell of these. Those smell kind of fruity. Fruity and, yeah, again, a little bit sort of savoury and spicy. So, just in case you don't believe that I'm actually going to taste these, we're going to do this in a different way, and you're going to see me putting these in my mouth. So, just be warned about that. Okay, so we're going to start with the bamboo worms. So let's just pick out a nice, fairly intact looking specimen. There we go. So that's the bamboo worms. Now, beer on standby. I'm sure this is going to be fine. Like I say, I've eaten insects before. It's not a big deal. They're really nutritious food, and actually this is the food of the future, because they're better at converting vegetable matter into usable protein and food for humans than any of the animals that we more traditionally farm, like chickens or cows or pigs. Anyway, here we go. So this is the bamboo worms. Yeah, kind of savoury, slightly meaty sort of flavour. So tastes a bit like pork scratchings or something. Actually, you know, like pork rinds, but actually has an interesting flavour all of its own. I'm just going to have another go at one of those actually, just so we can get a real flavour for them. So there we go, bamboo worms. Let's just have a look at that. There you can see its little head. I think that's its head, yes, there we go. There's a little head there on the end there. Right, so, they're quite delicate. Taste quite rich actually. They're sort of like cheesy puffs, but not quite cheesy. Not at all unpleasant. Got a sort of corn, grass sort of flavour to them. But very pleasant actually. And I think if you're eating them in the dark and you didn't know they were insects, you'd think you're eating some sort of savoury fried vegetable snack, I guess. So, clean the palate a little bit. Oh, that's nice. Okay, onto the silkworms now. Now, a little bit more challenging in appearance, the silkworms, because, my gosh, they're ugly little brutes. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can get a whole one out of the pack. They're kind of flat. I'm going to shake a few out into the can and see if we can actually... There's a fairly whole one. Right, there we go. So, they are ugly little brutes, these silkworm pupae. But, yeah, they kind of smell savoury, salty. Let's have a taste anyway. No further ado. Very much more crunchy than the bamboo worms. More neutral flavour, I would say. These taste just generically crunchy, sort of crunchy snack. You could honestly pass that off as some sort of corn snack and nobody would be any the wiser. Slightly nutty flavour actually. So nothing really to dislike there. Interesting. So first time I've eaten either of these things actually. I've eaten crickets before and mealworms and grasshoppers, but I haven't eaten silkworms or bamboo worms before. So that was not at all unpleasant, and that's kind of what I expected really from this. The insects in general, especially smaller insects like this, are generally pretty edible and pretty tasty when they're fried up and crispy like this. And these are genuinely going to be, I believe, the livestock of the future, just because they're so easy to farm. The ethical concerns of farming insects are not the same as those of farming most of our vertebrate livestock, and so it's just an easy way of producing nutritious food for our growing population. And insects they are so very nutritious, very, very high in protein, very high in beneficial fats and fat-soluble vitamins. So what's not to like? Of course there's the aesthetics angle of eating creepy crawlies, but let me ask you this question. Have you ever really looked closely at a crab or a prawn? I don't think there's really an awful lot of difference actually in terms of aesthetics and creepy crawliness between that and typical insect. So there we go, that was Weird Stuff in a Can, bamboo worms and silkworms. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.